In a world forsaken by the atheist, man activates a prohibited system known as the Warbot system. Each victory in battle and every challenge surmounted enhances his power, while vanquishing formidable foes propels him closer to godhood. Yet, as his strength grows, the heavens themselves seek his destruction. This narrative is primarily the genesis of a hero. Instead, it chronicles the emergence of a war deity not Kratos, but before we proceed, please like this video on William Pagano. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any future content. With that said, let's dive into the video. Our protagonist, Anles, is a resolute young man who lives by himself. Despite his solitude, he harbors a profound ambition to evolve into a formidable cultivator capable of defying all boundaries. The day Anlin reaches his 18th birthday, an entirely unforeseen event unfolds as an unexpected knock echoes at his door. The room is ambience shifted, growing dense and enigmatic, prompting him to sense that something is profoundly amiss. Instantly, Anlin activates his spiritual vision, attempting to discern the identity of the person behind his door. A potent and unfamiliar energy materializes before him. The unseen visitor appears deeply impressed by the skill our hero has just displayed. Just as Anlin attempts to call for assistance, a luminous elderly man passes through the doorway in a brilliant flash. The old man swiftly takes charge, whisking the young man away to an undisclosed location. This destination is Limbo, the renowned boundary separating the mortal and spiritual realm. Without allowing Anlin a moment to pose any questions, the elder gazes directly at him and presents an item that irrevocably alters the boy's fate. This item is a divine system, a fabled artifact bestowing godlike power upon its wielder, as if that weren't already extraordinary enough. The old man also provides Anlin with a letter of recommendation to be enabling his admission into one of the most prestigious cultivation academy across the entire spiritual realm. Following Cass' generous provisions to the young man, the elder simply vanishes, leaving a bewildered yet utterly thrilled Anlin with the prospect of finally experiencing the spiritual world he had long dreamed of, without a prior indication. A thin spiritual entity materializes before him, this diminutive being is visible solely to Anlin. Shortly thereafter, an unusual energy begins to emerge, indicating that someone is attempting to traverse the portal into that realm. The small creature then gazes at Anlin and inquires if he desires to assist the individual in entering. Anlin, driven by curiosity and arcane hair, agrees. The moment he consents, the gate swings open, and a surge of energy erupts. Abruptly, a gyro tumbles onto him, sending him sprawling to the ground. As he assists him in rising, the small creature completely transforms Anlin as a tear, granting him a remarkably stylish and attention-grabbing appearance. Our hero is now prepared to consider the girl his waifu. Tisgia, named Zeyole, smiled and compliments our hero as clothing, finding his new look quite intriguing. Following their introduction, Zeyolin takes Anlin at hand and instructs him to accompany her. As they proceed through the colossal gate, Zeyolin commences to provide some details regarding the cultivation academy they are both destined to attend. Further along, they observe a significant stir. As a test was underway to gauge the students' power level, the procedure itself was remarkably straightforward. Participants merely needed to place their hand upon a spiritual stone, which would then automatically categorize the cultivator. Their be assigning came to a specific class. At the forefront, several prominent individuals were already undergoing the assessment, and the area teemed with watchful onlookers. Just as our hero inquires about Zeyol's student level, she is summoned to undertake the test at that precise moment. As she steps forward, numerous boys begin chanting her name, indicating her considerable popularity there. The instant her hand makes contact with the stone, the outcome displays Class 1, signifying one of the highest possible classifications. Immediately following this, The subsequent name announced is, predictably, our hero Anlin. He is visibly apprehensive, having never engaged in cultivation throughout his entire life. Consequently, he retrieves his letter of recommendation and presents it to the evaluator. Upon reading the sender as named a legendary cultivator who had attained immortality, the evaluator, along with everyone present, expresses profound surprise and begins to regard the boy with admiration. They remark that he must be an exceptionally significant individual. However, we are well aware of the typical reactions like any man activist, so as all of us certainly. I will be asked that a lower classification. Just wait. Manuel, a numerologist positioned at the front of the audience, employs his ability to analyze and learn, and senses an unusual quality within him, declaring that our hero is still destined to astonish everyone. Upon overhearing this, the crowd erupted, chanting his name with even greater fervor. Thereby emboldening the young man to finally muster the courage to place his hand on the stone. However, to the utter astonishment of everyone in the audience save for Woods, who have witnessed countless anime tropes, the outcome places him in the absolute lowest classification, recorded in the school as history. The diminutive system features then materialized and conveys that it is detecting a significant degree of hatred and disdain being aimed at our unfortunate hero. Concurrently, another student is also undergoing the assessment. It becomes apparent that this student has achieved a very low classification, causing him to become enraged. He then opts to place all the blame on Anlin, asserting that our hero has brought misfortune. Unexpectedly, a seemingly random individual emerged and challenged our hero to a confrontation. This quickly escalates into a typical duel between cultivators. Nevertheless, given that Anlin still possesses no knowledge of cultivation, that large student swiftly seizes him by the arm and begins to flee, pulling him directly. Lin heads to his dormitory at night, conversing with this system, which reveals the necessity of training. This training is crucial for advancement, akin to solo leveling, requiring him to fulfill specific objectives to achieve higher levels and significant strength. This system as initial assignment is straightforward. Push up. Upon completing these exercises, his physique improves, attaining the first stage. Immediately afterward, he performs an additional 20, progressing to the second stage. After completing 100 push-ups, he achieves the third stage. For further progression, this system unveils a terrifying requirement. He is now tasked with performing 10 billion push-ups to attain the subsequent level. And I am certain that, even if he dedicate my entire life to push-ups, he would never reach 10 billion, unsure of how to begin or progress. Lin resolves to seek option for assistance. However, as he opens his door, he perceives an anomaly outside. An assailant is attempting to strike him. Given that our protagonist already possesses the third level of strength, he effortlessly subdues the individual. The attacker turned out to be the portly individual from the examination, the notorious Abang, recognized by students for his indolence, yet formidable when genuinely enraged. To prevent defense, the stout man produces an enigmatic talisman and unleashes a force that causes the air to tremble and the atmosphere to thicken, emitting terrifying spiritual energy. At that instant, Lin's system alerts him that direct defense against this particular assault is impossible, due to the immense disparity in energy. This system advises that his sole recourse is to employ the celestial portal to shatter the talisman wielded by his adversary. However, this system cautions that this method carries extreme peril, as he has not yet fully mastered this capability. Nevertheless, Lin finds himself with limited alternative and readies himself to attempt it. Yet, he doesn't even then to activate the portal, for vision materializes abruptly, intercepting the assault with a radiant golden light that illuminates the entire courtyard. Immediately afterward, the genuine chubby individual begins yelling from behind the door. insisting that someone grant him entry. The impostor chubby figure, standing before James, comprehends that his deception has been exposed, and frantically attempts to assault Xiao Lan. However, Lin responds swiftly, positioning himself in front of him, and activating his celestial portal, unleashing energy that rends the earth, and compels the Fu to withdraw. Seizing the opportunity, Xian channels her inherent spiritual power and banishes the impostor from the vicinity. With the conflict resolved, the young woman approaches Leah, still slightly out of breath, and explains that her sole reason for coming to the academy was to acquire sufficient power to safeguard those situations. As she gazes at our protagonist, Xian senses a unique quality, a presence that convinces her who will eventually become an extraordinary individual, universally ordinary. Until the gathers, supernatural magnificent as Lin absorbs her world with a genuine smile and a chapter, sensing a fresh surge of motivation awakening within him. And truly, who wouldn't deserve the protection of such a stunning woman? The following morning, the two proceed to the inaugural day of classes at the Spiritual Academy. As they navigate the hallways teeming with cultivators, Lin opts to employ a recently acquired ability, the power to eavesdrop on distant conversations. Essentially, he has a strong penchant for gossip and wishes to ascertain what everyone is discussing. Surprisingly, what Yehante anticipated is that he is the subject of widespread conversation. He ultimately learns that the majority are labeling him a criminal and holding him responsible for the recent accuracy. The unfortunate fellow, visibly perturbed, attempts to disregard the remarks before entering the classroom. Instead, he discovers that one of their instructors is an elder who has assumed the guise of a centenary. It's Bob's way as it elucidates principles concerning energy and spiritual root. Abruptly, a stunning woman materializes through a luminous portal, followed immediately by a handsome man appearing alongside her, capturing everyone as gazy. Our protagonist this current station possesses a comparable standing to such individuals in terms of beauty, lineage, and magic. However, in contrast to them, he senses an authentic bond with him, and connection transcending superficialities. Upon hearing this, the young woman becomes flustered and blushes in his direction. The instructor commences the lesson, requesting everyone to close their eyes. Lee, driven by curiosity, chooses to employ his spiritual eyes to fathom the ongoing events. He then observes that others around him are cultivating spiritual energy, drawing in luminous particles from the atmosphere. Shortly thereafter, the swordsmanship class commences, instructed by an elder who has assumed the form of a sword, which bewilders everyone, and linearly erupted in laughter. Subsequently, another instructor appears. Tristem embodied as sphere of fear. Additionally, there is an instructor in the shape of a colossal hammer. Each one imparts a distinctive of power. Finally, it is the turn of a teacher possessing a human visage. Lin becomes enthusiastic, believing he will at last grasp something distinct from the other master. The teacher distributes mobile phones, powered by spiritual energy, to everyone. The instructor is essentially attempting to inundate them with dopamine. She clarifies that their objective is to utilize the device as frequently as possible to master the channeling and balancing of energy. And I believe I am quite proficient at this, given my constant phone usage. Shortly thereafter, the renowned master of numerology, Apetulian and Composman, becomes the next instructor. He instructs everyone to fall asleep and record their dream on sequence to 3. And Lin as body begins to unwind, leading him into a profound slumber. Upon his awakening, the classroom scene had completely transformed. The magic lesson was now underway, and the instructor summoned the class as most attractive student. Then, Anlin himself was called to train alongside him to defend our protagonist. Xiao Lan steps forward, She initiates an assault on the attractive student. Despite her strength, the disparity in her power levels appears substantial. Her spiritual heritage exerts considerable pressure on the long-haired individual, yet he declares that her cultivation is insufficient. Immediately afterward, he pins the guild to the ground. Employing his ability, just as he prepares to strike her with a more potent attack, Anlin intervenes. He reactivates his celestial portal. Witnessing Anlin as serious demeanor with his power unleashed, the instructor is visibly impressed but maintains her composite, exceeded expression. The long-haired student resumes the training and ensnares both of them with chains. Miraculously, Anlin breaks free, and during the ongoing battle, he advances to the fourth stage. Following this display of power, our protagonist senses his body starting to falter. The attractive, long-haired man humbly approaches and admits the fact this individual, in addition to his strength, possesses immense humility. Subsequently, the teacher departs, instructing the student to engage in self-study. Once the instructor is gone, the handsome student commands the two new arrival and extends an offer of assistance. Should they wish to enhance their abilities, as Anlin currently requires numerous cultivation stones. To progress to the subsequent stage, he unhesitatingly requests a few, the man, with his boundless humility, and desire to accumulate further aura in this narrative, bestows upon our protagonist a ring equivalent to 1,000 cultivation stones. Subsequently, while this individual is named Asian, he inquires of Anlin if he has an affinity for military matters. With tears welling up, the hero affirms. Sang Ten beats Farewan in asphalt-dearly fashion. Shortly thereafter, another talented and attractive girl named Su emerges, expressing her desire for friendship with our protagonist. Returning to his room, Anlin utilizes his stones to advance another level. This system has now presented our hero with a fresh challenge. He must engage in a fortnight escape game, surviving the school battle royale and securing a spot within the top 50. Should they falter in this endeavor, the divine Hexter will transform him into a woman for a duration of 1 year. Outside his dome, Anlin attempts to ascertain if his companions would still hold affection for him should they become female. And frankly, he believes people would indeed like him. Back in his quarters, our hero resolves to exert every effort to achieve the pinnacle of strength within the school, thereby avoiding the transformation into a woman. To progress to the subsequent level, our protagonist opts to undertake a system mission. This time, the system notifies him that he must vanquish an individual who has attained the ninth stage or higher, a revelation that leaves him utterly astonished and apprehensive. Given the near impossibility of this challenge, he is merely at level 4, yet they expect him to confront someone at the ninth stage. Considering his best friend at school is at the 10th stage, he contemplates asking her to intentionally lose a battle, solely to fulfill his objective. Nevertheless, the instant they converses with him, his embarrassment overwhelms him. He becomes severely frustrated, utterly botching his game. Unsure of his next move, he resolves to seek assistance from his friend Shang, who is renowned as one of the Academy's most popular and disciplined students. He is also exceptionally humble. However, upon hearing the plan, Shang emits a sigh. He advises Anlin to case taking shortcut and to commence genuine cultivation, explicitly stating his disapproval of such methodology. Yet, Kevin disheartened, our hero refuses to surrender. The following day, he summons his courage. He attempts once more to persuade Zeolian to conduct a battle to him, explaining the entire situation to her. However, she completely misinterprets his intentions, beginning to deny he was, in fact, trying to confess his feelings. Merely contemplating this prospect, Zeolian becomes utterly flustered, her face flashing crimson. She starts to stammer. Ultimately, despite her confusion and embarrassment, She consents to aid our hero in his advancement. Later that night, during a discussion with Shang, Anlin requests the long-haired man to infrastructure city. He desires to acquire new self-defense methods and perhaps captivate the girl. Shang finds the nation amusing but consents to instruct him. Shang elaborates on an ancient skill known as the formation of the divine chains, describing it as a swift and accurate strike. This technique can catch even seasoned adversaries off guard. The following day, Anlin resolves to try out a new maneuver, attempting to playfully employ the technique on Xian. However, he executes the movement entirely incorrectly. The girl is startled and believes he genuinely attempted to assault her. She starts weeping, witnessing her theory. Our hero completely loses focus and inadvertently touches an inappropriate spot. This exacerbates the situation, and the girl departs in tears, confused and enraged, labeling him an idiot as she goes. Anlin is left utterly dumbfounded. Both the girl and Anlin, who merely wished to trade, are left in distress after this catastrophe. Devastated, the hero returns to Xiang's residence, weeping and lamenting how everything had gone awry. Later, back in his dormitory, Lin attempts to unwind by consuming various spiritual stones, believing they will restore his vitality. However, instead of gaining strength, he suffers a disastrous bout of severe diarrhea. As he endures this agonizing experience in the restaurant, a system notification appears, delivering an update. The poor fellow is informed that he will endure 13 full days of this affliction. Though this system also promises a new secret ability upon its conclusion. This news leaves him torn between anticipation and utter misery, given his current intestinal distress. Unable to even leave his room to apologize to Zhou. His guilt intensifies as days pass with him confined to the bathroom. Meanwhile, rumors circulate throughout the school, leading almost everyone to the specialist even more. They suspect he is either hiding in disgrace or hatching some scheme, especially in the mind of Mildy, the well-meaning class monitor. Mildy decides to visit his friend's dorm to investigate the situation, speaking to Lin from outside the door. Shang hears peculiar sounds emanating from within, leading him to believe the boy is possessed by a demon. Unaware of Lin's true predicament, the concerned individual sets by the door. He begins to employ an ancient power, a type of purification prayer, to dispel spiritual impurities. Upon this action, our hero experiences an immediate physical response, his body forcefully expelling everything simultaneously. Seeing the positive effect, Xiang becomes invigorated and resolves to dedicate his utmost effort to aid his friend. He concentrates all his spiritual energy on the purification, an exertion so intense that it leaves the poor hero as backseat extremely sore. The ritual concludes in the most agonizing manner possible. As time progresses, two of Lin's friends approach his dormitory. They witness the handsome Shang, who is there channeling all his spiritual power, gathering aura outside, while Lin screams from within. The sounds are so intense, resembling a true exorcism, that they capture everyone's attention in the hallway. Yet the Lord and the door remains at us, conventionally to be as company, following considerable car. Our hero finally manages to exit the room, still somewhat frightened and unsteady on his feet. He had emerged to take part in the battle royale, the grand event that will determine if he retains his malform, or if due to some peculiar spiritual phenomenon, he will transform into a woman. Even after departing his residence, the poor Gui Estomachu is still in turmoil. A few hours later, we finally learn that the eccentric teachers actually possess human forms, only adopting their unusual appearances during lesson because they are too indolent to touch face-to-face. Once everyone arrives at the arena, Xiang discards his modesty and begins to swiftly eliminate dozens of students. With rapid and precise attack, demonstrating why he is regarded as one of the academy's finest. Meanwhile, the school's most beautiful girl also joins the fray, Her immense power causing bald-headed individuals to flip and even cracking the very ground. However, our hero, Lin, feels so unwell from his stomach ailment that he cannot even contemplate fighting. His sole desire is a piece of toilet paper so he can relieve himself in peace, while everyone else exchanges blows. As spiritual energy is unleashed everywhere, Lin attempts to conceal himself behind rocker, searching for a secluded spot to attend to his needs. But fortune does not favor him. A competitor discovers his hiding place and tries to initiate a confrontation. The commotion attracts other competitors, all eager to challenge our hero. After An has become renowned in the school, before Lin Chan even arrived, some of these students attacked the individual who was attempting to defeat him, sending the unfortunate competitor fleeing far from the arena. Perplexed by the entire situation, Lin requested that only one person fight him at a time, but the students pay no heed. They instead begin to brawl and clash, transforming the battlefield into utter pandemonium. While the group decimates itself, Lin seizes the opportunity to finally relieve himself. The sense of relief is so profound that the hack system detects an immediate alteration in his body as energy, and at that moment, he acquires a new capability. A strike so potent it can make an entire mountain tremble with a single punch. Following 13 consecutive days of agon and suffering, Lin emerges revitalized, feeling his body is completely cleansed and prepared for battle. He then decides to employ his newly acquired technique and charges into combat, delivering a single blow. He unleashes a wave of energy that propels his adversaries through the air. Those four opponents were all at the ninth stage, so the system immediately acknowledges Lin as accomplishment and promotes him directly to the 8th stage, marking a significant advancement in his power. Now, the hero understands he must overcome as many opponents as possible to secure a spot among the top 50 best cultivators in the competition. Amidst the confusion that should be gui from both marks and appearance, he approaches our hero, and to everyone's astonishment, he requests assistance. It seems the animosity he once harbored towards Lin has dissipated. The Chubigui explains that he discovered a secret sanctuary where 291 worker students are hidden, terrified of being brutalized during the fire. With a compassionate look in his eyes, the Chubion leads Lin to the location, and clarifies that these worker students wish to avoid a harsh beating, which is why he asked the hero to defeat them playfully, merely to fulfill the event as protocol. He also discloses the reason for selecting Anlin. Despite his immense power, the hero refrained from using it to intimidate others, fostering with the spread truth. Consequently, our protagonist began to overcome his fellow students swiftly and with notable deference. As he ascended the ranks, observers viewing the combat remotely via monitors started labeling him a fraud and a scoundrel, alleging he exploited less powerful adversaries to secure his position after numerous victories. Abruptly, the system broadcast an alert. An exceptionally potent cultivator was drawing near the combat zone. Lin speculated that it could be the Radiant Elder from earlier, possibly returning to challenge him differently. However, upon lifting his gaze, he spotted an approaching figure and understood his assumption was entirely incorrect. In actuality, it was a young woman whose eyes held a chilling, bloodthirsty intensity, enveloped by a palpable and menacing aura. She carried a letter of endorsement, bearing the shawl of the paramount god of Saucer, and her very presence caused the ground to tremor. This young woman is named as Liu Qianye, though for narrative convenience we shall refer to her simply as Liu. The girl drew nearly, fixing him with a cold, unwavering gaze, and presented him with two unvarnished choices, engaged in a game with her, or battle until one of them collapsed. Apprehensive of Liu, our hero promptly replied, endeavoring to conceal his apprehension. He managed a strange smile. It seemed Liu had no genuine desire for combat. Her true intention was to play with him, possibly because Anlin represented the soul mal in the academy originating from the mortal domain. This fact ignited immense curiosity within her, as she had never before directly interacted with an individual of such an origin. The game then commenced, with Liu posing numerous inquiries about the mortal realm, exhibiting sincere fascination with the mundane aspects of human existence. Throughout this dialogue, it became evident that she had always harbored a desire to visit the mortal plane. However, she had never been afforded the opportunity, so as she played, she found enjoyment and simultaneously uncovered novel insights about this alternate world that captivated her deeply. During the course of these questions, the young woman shifted her demeanor, beginning to pry into our hero's personal life, directly inquiring if Leon was his romantic partner. Startled with the query, Lane responded promptly that our Liu began to employ her abilities to discern falsehoods. She meticulously scrutinized every nuance of his energy to ascertain the veracity of his statements. Ultimately, she posed on final, more profound question. His objectives within the academy. Our hero's reply utterly astonished her. His straightforward and heartfelt words caused Liu to relax her defenses and perceive Lin in a new light. Following this, the young woman resolved to acknowledge him as a beneficial human and declared her intention to continue their games for 3 consecutive days. However, a significant predicament arose if Lin dedicated all his time to playing with her. He would fail to advance in the rankings, and this system would consequently transform him into a woman, having not met the prescribed objective of the contest. In desperation, our hero appealed to his system for assistance, searching for a method to avert this metamorphosis. The system responded unequivocally. He must either vanquish a specific number of individuals more powerful than himself or obtain a novel special capability. This ability, it rivaled, could only be discovered at the apex of the battleground. Armed with this knowledge, Lin glanced at Liu, attempting to be inconspicuous, and suggested they ask on her flame broom to continue their game high in the sky, cheating the purer aim and more potent spiritual energy found at that altitude. Concurrently, on the ground below, the canine instructor encountered Zai Olin and chose to disclose the complete truth, explaining that Lin had been suffering from severe diarrhea throughout this period, which accounted for his withdrawal and subsequent absence. The young woman was both astonished and relieved, comprehending that the cause of his vanishing was entirely unlike her initial conjectures. She grew considerably calmer. Meanwhile, back in the heavens, Lin arrived at a colossal, luminous spiritual rock, a floating stone radiating unadulterated energy. He commenced absorbing the terrestrial power emanating from it. This stem then informed him that to acquire the new ability, he would be required to dedicate a full day to uninterrupted absorption of the stone's energy while positioned aloft. From a distance, the hero observed a handsome individual watching in silence, but in an instant, the man vanished. What was most peculiar was that Liu appeared to have perceived nothing. As night descended, the dynamic between the two shifted, and our hero and Liu began to play in earnest. Astonishingly, despite her addiction to games, Liu was consistently being defeated in every round. Frustrated by her losses, the young woman employed her intellect and coded the game herself, altering the rules to secure a long-awaited triumph over Lin. Upon her victory, she became highly exhilarated, and the pair ultimately shared laughter. Amidst this exchange, they made a light-hearted pledge in the future. After departing the academy, they would to manage a gaming company as partners. As the sun commenced its ascent, and rosters began to throw, Liu visibly relaxed, and eventually divulged some melancholic details about her personal history, revealing a childhood marked by solitude and substantial obligations. However, an abrupt shift occurred, triggered by the energy Anle was drawing from the stone. The young woman became convinced they had deceived her, Employing her detection ability, she perceived a concentrated and throbbing energy field surrounding his form. Unable to comprehend the phenomenon, she concluded he had been attempting to mislead her Aldistima. Incensed, she rose and resolved to assault Lina, believing herself betrayed. At that precise instant, the hero ultimately, Anlin successfully absorbs the earth as energy, and this system declares he has gained a novel elemental ability. His Haki system virtually commands an immediate assault. Yet Anlin Davis, choosing not to strike, he urgently calls out to Liu, imploring her to believe him, asserting his constant honesty, and that he never intended to mislead her. As Liu halts her offensive, the Haki system begins issuing warnings with her. Anlin as consciousness, compelling him to automatically counterattack. I commend her finds himself unable to defy. Our protagonist unleashes a direct strike, impacting Liu squarely. Enraged and injured, she instantly retaliates, materializing before him in a flash, pressing a blade against his throat. Her frigid and menacing star gleams beneath the sky as illuminature. For a fleeting instant, they both stand motionless, locked in a mutual gaze. However, as Liu begins to converse with Anlin, she discerns that, on this occasion, he genuinely speaks the truth. In a quivering tone, the hero clarifies that he was merely engaging in practice while enjoying himself with her, and that this explained why his energy appeared misleading. Liu shakes her head, stating that simultaneously practicing and having full is invisible, labeling it a futile justification. With no alternative, Anlin chooses to reveal the truth, and discusses that he possesses a Haki system which assists him in shooting at cultivation, thereby expediting his skill acquisition. Yet, rather than reacting with joy or curiosity to this disclosure, Liu grows despondent. She comprehends that the taunt and remarks paper directed at Anlin, labeling him a cheat, were indeed accurate. Nevertheless, the young woman opts for one last verification, and she requests our hero to utter a falsehood solely to ascertain the veracity of his statements. Anlin ponders briefly, and responds that he did not cultivate via the system, but rather gained power by consuming an unusual spiritual stone. Immediately after this, he appened that this stone induces such suffer, therefore it is akin to tormental. Liu, both inquisitive and resolute, notice, then proceeds to consume the stone directly before him. The premise was straightforward. If she too experienced diarrhea, Anlin as words would be validated. Conversely, if nothing occurred, he would officially be deemed a deceiver. Moments later, she ingests the fragment of stone, and the debilitating diarrhea assails her with full intensity. The young woman started to endure the identical agony her hero had previously experienced. Providentially for her, Anlin as recently acquired power, was capable of neutralizing the stone as adverse effects. Without hesitation, she channels this energy and directs it towards Liu. A golden aura envelops the girl as form, and progressively, she begins to feel significantly better, exhaling with relief. Following this, Anlin offers her some unique spiritual tissues, designed for those afflicted by the stone as identical symptoms. As a gesture of gratitude, Liu bestows upon the hero a headworn accessory, a type of enchanted ornament capable of shielding him from a lethal strike. As Anlin ascends into flame to resume his travel, the Haki system manifests, notifying him that his prospects for a romantic relationship with Liu have significantly improved, and now, indeed, young man, another addition to Anlin is harem. While soaring through the heavens, our hero unexpectedly encounters the most formidable student within the entire Academy of Cultivators. This individual was on the verge of initiating a conflict, specifically searching for a student named Shanshan. He issued a warning to all present. If Shanshan failed to present himself for combat, he would vanquish every single one. Of the more than 20,000 students in the institution simultaneously until Shenzhen was located, Anlin observed the spectacle from a distance, astonished by the individual's audacious demeanor. Abruptly, he perceives a peculiar sensation, a diminutive tracker device vibrating. Upon inspection, he ascertains that the signal originates from Zeolan, who appears to be in Perian. Without squandering a moment, the hero entirely alters his trajectory and space away to save his companion in a different sector of the combat zone. Zeolan, then the canine instructor, finds themselves encircled by numerous students as the girl attempts to resist, but she is utterly exhausted, and the dog can barely stir. Just as Zeolan is on the verge of being struck, Anlin materializes, soaring, intercepting the attack, and restraining both of them in a valiant act. Employing his newly acquired artwork, the hero emits a restorative wave that replenishes the vitality of both companions. However, before they can respond, the Academy's most formidable student intervenes, and with a singular action, he annihilates hundreds of students, laying waste to his surroundings. The assault is so potent that only Anli and his companions endure, a survival attributed to the high adornments that Liu had gifted Anlin. The enchanted item absorbed a portion of the force, preserving him from inevitable demise. Once the dust dissipated, the terrain lies in devastation. Out of over 20,000 students, merely 132 persis. Anlin capitalizes on the desire to eliminate the remaining standing adversaries. There will be accumulating further triumphs, and ascending to the next stage of power. Following the skirmish, he seizes a moment of tranquility and offers an apology to Zeolan for all she had endured. The hero smiles, accepts his contrition, and the two rekindle their strong friendship, just as it was previously. However, the turmoil is far from concluded, as Shenzhen has yet to make an appearance. The Lightning Gui, the Academy's premier student, declares his intention to obliterate the entirety of the forest of 1,000 packs, a hallowed location where the tournament was taking place. The instructors observed the unfolding event from a distance, feeling tense, but opted against immediate intervention, confident that the equilibrium of the combat zone would naturally sustain itself. Unexpectedly, Shan and Shun, recognized as the most beautiful girl in the academy, emerged to confront this top-ranked student. Xiang conjures an enormous spiritual precept and commands all surviving students to elevate their hand. Despite hundreds of students channeling their collective energy to bolster him, the adversary effortlessly shattered his bonds. As distraction ensued, Sun launched a direct assault, only for her blows to be effortlessly parried by Jufu. Hianjian aimed his spear at her, paused momentarily, and, with a hint of awkwardness, attempted to invade her out. In patin, Sun rejected his overture, headbutting the spear, to deliberately remove herself from the battle royale. Her motive was simply to avoid further interaction with him. Xiang chuckled, remarking that Sun favored them who weren't constantly displaying their bare chests. This comment infuriated the top-ranked student, who then unleashed his full wrath upon Xiang. He unleashed a devastating strike, leading to the unfortunate elimination of the story's most charismatic and benevolent character. Wu was thus eliminated, departing the arena in silence, as the top student prepared to dispatch Anlin. Rizky ignited with a golden flash, and a figure materialized before him. It was Shenzhen, Wu, with a single finger, nullified the lightning attack launched by the Academy's strongest student, signaling the emergence of its genuine powerhouse. This was the very individual who had previously encountered Anlin. Upon seeing our hero once more, Shenzhen regarded him with a tranquil yet imposing stare. Our hero, merely by gazing upon his face, felt a familiar unease, almost a recurring stomach ache. Realm in a calmbut deeply authoritative tone, he informed Anlin that mastering the legendary technique was essential. The ring finger a truly peculiar name for an ancient art capable of cleaving the heaven and disrupting global equilibrium. Anlin attempted to pose questions, but Shenchen merely offered a smile before vanishing, leaving our hero utterly bewildered. Riddled with uncertainty. Anlin was then informed by the Hajstam, which materialized moments later, that a new update had been deployed. However, this update brought no excitement. It was akin to a Windows update, bringing only despair and nothing more. The probability of Anlin avoiding a gender transformation plummeted to 0.0000. Zizu 1, a figure with so mind preceding 0 start the satu signifies an almost entirely improbable outcome. Nevertheless, our hero clung to that minuscule 0.0000. Zizu 1% chance, convinced that despite its insignificance, a possibility of victory still existed. Thus, he surged ahead. The individual encountered earlier is Wim, essentially the Academy's most formidable student. Shall they manage to defeat Wim? This system guarantees will attain rank 2. Hereby allowing his life to finally revert to normalcy. This means no more unforeseen transformations, at least for the time being. Armed with this knowledge and lacking any other feasible option, our hero resolved to confront the insurmountable. They drew a deep breath, gazed at the horizon, and issued a challenge to the Academy's most powerful student. Upon witnessing his action, Sheldon rushed to him in distress, questioning the rationale behind such a reckless endeavor. To her astonishment, Anlin struck her, instantly removing her from the tournament. His blow, however, was devoid of malice. It was merely a protective measure, shielding her from potential harm in the impending conflict. Observing Shen as absent, Wam, the top-ranked student, seized the ideal moment to vent his accumulated frustration upon our hero. His loyal companion, attempting to shield his master, charged forward, but Lin intercepted and eliminated him from the arena, guaranteeing his safety as well. No, only Lin and Wang stood, confronting each other. As spiritual energy vibrated intensely between them, Wang launched an assault with absolute power. His attack was a devastating lightning bolt, capable of obliterating any life form. Lin retaliated, employing his mountain-destroying fist, but the technique failed spectacularly, and he narrowly avoided a direct hit just before the climax. The hack system repaired, announcing Lin's acquisition of a new ability, without a moment as target. The hero amassed all his remaining energy and executed the ultimate technique, the finger that splits the sky. An Amos threat. What an absurd name. In that very instant, the air cleaved into distinct directions, and all monitors transmitting the battle began to malfunction and power down. Yet despite this, every student within the academy could witness the colossal flash striking across the sky. The force of the impact was so immense that the ground quaked and the winds abruptly shifted course, and the resounding echo reverberated across the entire spiritual realm as the light finally dissipated. Wang lay utterly vanquished on the ground, and absolute silence descended. Then, unexpectedly, the audience erupted into cheers of Anlin wins. Everyone was awestruck by the power he had just displayed. Liu, observing from a distance, comprehended the sheer magnitude of the unleashed force and realized that Anlin had indeed restrained himself during their previous encounter. Little did she know, he hadn't even possessed his full power at that time. The teachers, utterly perplexed, decided to exclusively select our hero for dispatch to a specialized facility where exceptional cultivators receive training. This was a reward for his significant accomplishment. However, prior to this, Anlin's body succumbed to exhaustion, and after deploying that devastating technique, he remained unconscious for a full 10 days, sleeping profoundly. Upon regaining consciousness, what motivated him was discovering that, during his slumber, everyone in the academy had begun referring to him as the strongest student in history. Following this triumph, the hack system bestowed upon him new powers, in addition to various abilities and isolation of legendary artifacts, some so peculiar that Anlin himself had no clue how to utilize them. A month later, the core trio, comprising Lia, Xiao Lian, and Shan, are formally appointed as divine messengers of the spiritual academy. This elevated position entails significant duties, as they are now tasked with fostering prosperity in the human realm. During the official ceremony, the principal designates Lin as the leader of these messengers. True to his cheerful nature, the hero boldly pledges to procure items from the human world for anyone who simply requests them, free of charge. Essentially, he plans to acquire everything via Shopee. Amidst the general jubilation, the leader arrives, beaming, to share an announcement. She and Anlin are establishing the spiritual world as inaugural esports club. The concept is straightforward, a collective focus on gaming, unwinding, and momentarily setting aside the rigors of cultivation, purely for enjoyment and relaxation. The idea sparks widespread enthusiasm, leading everyone to join. They will be transforming the new club into a central gathering spot for the academy as most formidable, yet passionate students, thus, following numerous conflicts, misfortunes, intense training, and profound spiritual insights, our hero, Anlin, finally achieves a degree of equilibrium between his power, his friendship pace, and a measure of enjoyment. The following day, numerous students converged upon Anlin as residents, legally going to purchase Shopee items, from basic apparel and exotic delicacies to mere novelty trinkets. Everyone desired a Shopee acquisition facilitated by him. The hero's living quarters resembled a bustling mobile store, prompting the hack system to even question him that he was inadvertently establishing a franchise. Concurrently, the individual who had previously launched an assault alongside Xiao Liang is observed in a clandestine conversation with Wang, reputedly the strongest student. Zhou I suspect this claim is dubious given his defeat billion. In the course of their discussion, the formidable cultivator remarked that Anlin's triumph was no mere happenstance. He posits that the hero's victory signifies a divine mandate for Anlin to journey to the mortal realm and undertake a crucial assignment. The mere thought of Anlin assuming the role of official messenger ignites a blend of envy and frustration within Han Qin. He struggles to compose himself but ultimately breaks down, weeping, bemoaning his destiny, and declaring his failure to the goddess. Precisely then, the hack system materialized before Anlin, its distinct robotic voice proclaiming his acquisition of a new title. The one who makes his enemies cry. Beyond this title, we also acquired another ability. Indeed, this individual possesses a vast array of powers. It has peculiar how causing an enemy to weep instantly grants him an extraordinary skill. Following this rather extraordinary occurrence, Anlin opts to unwind, spending quality time and enjoying himself with Liu Mei's favorite couple. The pair passes the day in laughter, play, and conversation, capturing the notice of all around them. My friend Shan, widely regarded as the most amiable character in the narrative, observes from a distance, smiling and contemplating the unique qualities of his companion. After Anlin succeeded in eliciting a smile from the usually stern Liu, an unprecedented seiyuu. Xiao Liang, who had been witnessing the entire scene from the periphery, starts to feel a pang of jealousy. However, the tranquility is short-lived. Abruptly, Professor Liu, the expert in future predictions, materializes at Anlin's door, stating an urgent need to discuss a significant impending event, fearing an ominous prophecy. Our hero flies before the elder Chan Evans pair. Intrigued, Xiao Yang pursues the professor, inquiring about the prediction he intended to disclose to Lin. The elder suggests, maintaining silence for a few moments, and the scan concluded before the revelation. But fret not, I will inform you, Xiao Liang discovered had this prophecy foretold numerous conflicts and perilous threats along Anlin's journey, prompting her to cancel it to spare our hero anxiety. Immediately thereafter, as the group traverses the interworld portal, an unforeseen event transpires. A creeping force seizes the hero, and Xiao Liang is inadvertently dragged along. Without hesitation, Brother Shen plunges after them through the portal in pursuit, unwilling to abandon his companions. Truly, this individual is remarkable. Moments later, Anlin awakens mid-air in a terrifying free fall, hurtling towards the earth. The Hex manifests in alarm, alerting him that he is 500 meters from the ground and instructing him to brace for a fatal collision. In desperation, the hero deploys his Earth-based abilities to generate an energy cushion beneath his feet, mitigating the impact of his descent. Fortuitously, he narrowly escapes death. Immediately afterward, Xiang arrives, soaring, utilizing his divine chains to steady his own fire and then casting a restorative spell on his friend. Within moments, Anlin is fully recovered. However, the pace is fleeting. Suddenly, a young woman emerges, piloting a golden vessel that tracks across the heavens, like a meteor. Her name is Ling Lin, and she navigates the aircraft with absolute assurance. The trio boards the ship and proceeds to follow her. Xiang expresses excitement at being inside an actual aircraft, a phenomenon previously confined to legends. Anlin, however, voices his irritation, grumbling that he won't be able to purchase anything on Shopee if he remains stranded aloft. When the hero inquires about their presence on the vessel, Ling Ling responds dismissively, asserting that she owes no explanation to newcomers in the spiritual realm. This retort incenses Xiao Liang, and the tension between them escalated. They exchange furious glances, nearly erupting into a confrontation right there within the ship. Before pandemonium can ensue, Xiang employs his divine aura to quell their aggressive impulses, generating an aura of serenity that dissipates any desire for conflict. This action astonishes Ling Lin, and upon seeing Xiang's countenance, she is instantly smitten, commanding his power and grace. Xiao Liang, meanwhile, folds her arms, exhaling in annoyance. Nevertheless, the dispute concludes peacefully, with all matters seemingly settled. Ling Ling then proceeds towards the aircraft's exit. With a bright flash, she activates a control lever, announcing their arrival at the intended destination as the ground beneath them begins to part. This unveils a massive metropolis, ablaze with lights, towering skyscrapers, and aerial structures the newly revitalized human realm. Brimming with advanced technology and interwoven spiritual power, Rare Landing Site serves as the mortal world's premier space transport hub. This immense facility says the trio great be a highly celebrated woman the moment they exit their vessel. She is a revered and influential public figure, recognized universally throughout the human domain, Mama Aishwarya, the Falcon Combat. Having resigned to embody both might and grace, her physical presence utterly mesmerizes our protagonist, and Lena. Rendered nearly moody, he recognized her as the woman he had always revered, his idol since their time in the spiritual realm. Yuan advances with a self-assured dread, presenting herself to the group, then immediately clarifies the purpose of their presence. Their dispatch to the space station stems from humanity's decision to no longer seek aid from the spiritual domain. The atmosphere is fraught, and Yuan reveals humanity's current desire is for the envoys to be repatriated to the spiritual plane. They demand their immediate return. Furthermore, humans are incensed, alleging that the spiritual realm dispatched representative will are utterly inadequate to act on their behalf. As this discussion unfolds, alarms begin to wind across the entire facility. A critical alert flashes on the displays, and the distinct sound of energy blast reverberates through the passageways. Without a moment's delay, our protagonists ready themselves for combat, offering their assistance against the assailants targeting the base. Yet, before they can intervene, a high-ranking human, known for his volatile disposition, erupts in anger, demanding the divine emissaries to instantly depart for the spiritual realm immediately thereafter. Her unleashes a ferocious assault upon the assembled group. With swift reflexes, Shah Ahumar positions himself defensively, safeguarding Aphelion behind a spiritual shield. Having absorbed the force of the strike, Shan, after deflecting the assault, fixes a resolute gaze upon the human. He then issues a challenge for an equitable duel, intent on demonstrating that the envoys are not as feeble as generally perceived at that instant. The psych system promptly analyzes the circumstances, presenting Lin with a conscious report. The adversary is significantly underestimating his capabilities. Furthermore, it indicates an 87% probability of success if a sudden assault is employed. Upon hearing this, our protagonist advances. He requests that Sang permit him to engage in combat instead. Sang pauses briefly but ultimately places his trust in him, withdrawing from the front. This leaves the arena clear for our hero. However, prior to the commencement of the duel, the offspring of the furious human, Lin Lin, consumed Bereg, leaps into the fray, charging directly at Lin and unleashing a barrage of swift blows. Initially, it appears she may overpower our young hero, yet gradually, Aphelion observes that her attacks are utterly ineffectual. While she exerts every effort, Lin calmly activates his celestial portal, effortlessly evading her. Immediately afterward, he utterly disregards the guild, employing his technique to instantly appear behind her father. Poised to unleash a crippling surprise strike, the man has had time to respond. The impact would have been devastating, but in the final instant, Yuan intervenes, intercepting the assault with her open palm. The released energy dissipates, and the earth trembles from the force of the collision. Adopting a grave expression, Yuan resolves to personally assassinate Estranta, declaring that, should they withstand a single spiritual attack from hand, all of humanity will formally acknowledge the divine envoys as allies. However, before she can complete her strike, the impetuous Lin Lin attempts another assault, only to be swept up in the resulting energy surge. Alongside him, fortunately, our protagonist possesses sufficient power to withstand such a formidable force, and he then activates an ability that asserts his dominance over others' will, causing the attack's potency to dissipate. In doing so, he even shields Lin Lin. The sole drawback of this power is that Lin sacrifices a portion of his own strength. With each repeated application on the same adversary, so at this juncture, the trade-off is entirely justified. Consequently, a palpable pressure descends upon everyone in the station, and the previously skeptical human at last acknowledge the divine emissaries as authentic, respectable combatante. Lin Lin's father, now composed, even expresses enthusiasm, and he opts to assign his daughter to a collaborative mission with Lin, convinced that Lin can facilitate her growth and maturity, and deepen her comprehension of genuine cultivation. Immediately following this, the High System alerts our hero to an unforeseen pair. Having transformed adversaries into allies, he has now gained the unlimited vision ability and new power enabling Lin to perceive rock any material, including garment, an effect that, predictably, leaves him utterly mortified. Soon after, the group is then instantly transported to their next assignment, and en route, Lin clarifies that their primary objective is to evaluate the enemy's strength and power levels, rather than to eliminate them outright. Concurrently, back at the station, Shola and grow concerned for the hero as safety and request authorization to participate in the conflict. Within the mission zone, Lin progresses solo through a noxious antique fog, yet the earth-based power high commands renders all forms of poison utterly ineffective and astonishingly potent ability allowing him to advance unimpeded. Having ventured a sufficient distance, he doubles back to, extracting Lin from the vapor and guiding her to a secure refuge amidst the rocky terrain. As they conceal themselves, Lin gazes towards the distant horizon, stating that four exceptionally formidable adversaries lay in wait just before them. Abruptly, shrieks reverberate as Fuzz emerges, stumbling, weeping, and groaning in utter hopelessness. Our protagonist observes a fine smile of contentment on his face, revealing he employed a power of illusion. And as a result, they are now afflicted with profound sadness and intestinal distress. Concurrently, offstream, Zaylin persistently demands to be deployed. As backup in the conflict, she implores the human commanders to allow her to assist Lin. But the obstinate and arrogant humans refuse her plea. In their estimation, only Lin has demonstrated sufficient strength to confront the adversaries. Consequently, he opted to dispatch their most reliable human combatants rather than deploying additional ethereal envoys. However, Colin remains unyielding, determined to prevail through sheer perseverance. This relentless insistence eventually exasperates all present. Impatient, she launched an assault to prevent further disaster. Sang materialized, interceding with his celestial presence. Observing Shaolin as distraught, he resolves to defy the human as directive, declaring he will pursue Lin regardless of the consequences. Despite lacking authorization, the pair ultimately succeeded in escaping and departed to aid their comrade. Meanwhile, the human bus as alarms blare, signaling an impending danger. The reality is that numerous shadowy entities are advancing towards the realm of mortals via obscure gateways, shattering mystical defenses presumed to be impregnable. As a result, the remaining humans are compelled to divide their forces, engaging in combat across multiple fronts concurrently. In an effort to curb the intrusion, during one such skirmish, an inquisitive human bystander attempts to peer into a portal. The instant his head enters, he is assailed by an ancient force. This enigmatic power shatters the interdimensional barrier, breaching the bus with a deafening impact. From within the gateway, a strikingly beautiful young demoness materializes, adorned with curved horns and dark wings. Possessing such an overwhelming aura that the surrounding atmosphere appears to congeal. She effortlessly vanquishes all in her vicinity. Following the devastation, she proceeds towards a specific, significant objective, back on the battleground. Lin, Xie, and Ziyuan at last converge. This fabled triumvirate stands united, poised to provide the formidable assistance against the infernal adversary. As they brace for action, Lin is apprised of an organ dispatcher, notifying him that the stronghold has entirely severed communication with the external environment. All comprehend that the predicament is graver than initially perceived. Good. They resolve to vanquish the presence with utmost speed before departing to address the unfolding event at the facility. Unexpectedly, Lin senses an odd presence behind him, and before he can respond, adversaries encircle him. They seize him, hoisting him aloft, and assault him with coordinated strikes until he loses consciousness mid-flight from the barrage of impacts. Shan, witnessing his closest companion being abducted, sprints frantically to rescue him. However, midway, the demons materialize, obstructing his route. Naturally, the long-haired combatant possesses immense power, and they cleave through his foe in mere moment, clearing the path and soaring to intercept Lin before he impacts the altar. Even so, he discerns he cannot succeed united. At that precise instant, Colin rushes to his aid, extending her arms to attempt to grasp our hero's form. Yet, before she can reach her comrade, the adversary unleashes an energy blast directly at her, striking her head and flinging her to the ground. Witnessing the hero's collapse, Lin attempts to retaliate, charging the foe with all her might. But she is effortlessly overcome. The antagonist starts to chuckle, assured of triumph, until Xiang abruptly materializes, slamming the masked opponent into the earth with a savage blow. He then confronts the remaining three adversaries single-handedly. Concurrently, Xiaolan is locked in a first struggle against a perpetually screaming Demonas. However, the predicament deteriorated when this Demonas perceives that Lin is still conscious and thus she redirects her attention, charging towards him to deliver the fatal blow. At that moment, something astonishing transpires. Even in his unconscious state, our champion starts to utter archaic incantation paramount technique. The energy surrounding him transforms instantaneously, and the entire earth quakes. Abruptly, the force collapses, vanquished by an unseen power. Lin gradually opens his eyes as a dark gateway manifests behind him. Two spectral hands emerge from the portal, drawing him inward, transporting him to a somber and hushed realm. Within that domain, the hero again loses consciousness, but the hack system materializes, vociferating within his thoughts, foreseeing losing him. The instant he steers, this system alerts him to his perilous situation, and presents a novel exploit to surmount the crisis. Thrilled with the prospect of bending the rules anew, Lin embraces the proposition. His digit starts to glow brilliantly, and this system commands him to vocalize and metamorphose into a form capable of enduring that abyssal local. Concurrently, outside, Silin is destroyed, weeping and shrieking his designation. Amidst the shower, she is struck, resulting in her removal from the combat. However, before she can fall, Shen salvaguards the area and repels the lingering adversaries. After being rescued, Xian observes the portal constricting, and in a final endeavor to retrieve Lin, she conjures an enormous blazing sword and propels it towards the gateway. At that precise instant, the Demoness glances behind her, sensing the energetic disruption. The moment she does so, Lin's metamorphosis commences to radiate with a brilliance surpassing the sun. Yet, contrary to all expectation, he does not transmute. Instead, he calls forth his companion. Liu, her arrival is so instantaneous that time itself appears to halt, and with a solitary motion, emerging from the portal, Liu swiftly immobilizes every adversary before raising them within moments. Instantly, she transports the protagonist into the portal. Her speed is such that even Shang struggles to track her movement. Acknowledging the group as gratitude, Liu's face remains grim as she declares that their challenges have only just commenced. No sooner had she spoken than the demon girl manifested, slowly advancing directly towards the assembled group. Bearing a smile that foreshadows a new conflict, the main characters, confronted by the demon girl, attempt to negotiate resolutely. The quartet demanded she release the prisoners, and yielded, hoping to avert a full-scale war between realms. Yet the Hornet On shows complete disregard. Disregarding their chosen entirely, she fixes them with an arrogant gaze, then conjures a dark portal and moves to eliminate Liu. As she unleashes a destructive spiritual energy assault upon Liu, an unforeseen occurrence unfolded at that very moment. From unlit as yet, a luminous red flower unfurls, from which sacred magical energy emanates and projects outwards. The magic impacts the adversary's hand, compelling her to withdraw. It is only child that Anlin comprehends he has acquired another novel technique. Liu, having narrowly escaped elimination, erupts in fury and charges directly at the horned adversary. She succeeds in tearing several feathers from the foe's wings, yet this proves insufficient to vanquish her. Sensing potential defeat by the hero, the horned demoness opts for drastic measures, absorbing the cultivator's life force. She had captive, completely depleting their vital essence to augment her own strength. With this gathered energy, the Fu conjures a colossal divine artifact, a golden sword inscribed with ancient runes. The weapon as magic is utterly overwhelming. Its potency is such that even the such system issues a warning within Lin's consciousness, indicating this sword possesses the fundamental ability to shatter cosmic laws. It is capable of instant annihilation and can even obliterate the hack system. Upon learning this, our hero as heart pounds furiously. The hard adversary, no cognizant of the pre-Lin possessed, redirects her offensive entirely towards him, employing spiritual enchantment. She ensnares him and unleashes a barrage of savage assaults. His companions attempt to intervene. However, Ye Alvente's spiritual energies depleted as the enemy wields multiple divine armaments concurrently. Such an overabundance of power excites Aton. By deploying numerous weapons simultaneously, the demon guild starts to fade into unconsciousness. Just before succumbing, she utters in a garbled voice that she had retrieved orders to eradicate all that existed, which does not originate from this world. In this their instant, the Hexta manifests before the hero, and presents him with a desperate ultimatum, essentially, a unique proposition of ultimate power. In return for a fifth of our hero's lifespan, without a moment as token, Lin agrees, reasoning that sacrificing a fifth is preferable to his entire existence being erased. Yet, immediately after his acceptance, a team fiery materializes before him and status. In a quivering voice, that he ought not to have proceeded with selling that contract. The hero finds himself within a spiritual ocean, where he confronts the genuine essence of the High System. She identifies herself as Tina, an unseen being who uncovers the underlying truth of all events. Within his own consciousness, Lin perceives the Hornet Woman as sword severing the link between him and Tina, inflicting pain upon both, as turmoil engulfs the outside world, and Lin as friends observe, utterly powerless. Immobilized, they ponder which deity he might have offended to become the recipient of such immense suffering. The young demoness then conjures a cataclysm, a destructive power poised to obliterate all humanity. Messengers, cultivators none shall evade its grasp, rejoining Anlin, Tina elucidates that in a far-off future, a far more immense catastrophe annihilated everything dear to her, Anlin intruded, and by expending all her might, she journeyed back through time, transforming herself into a system spirit with the singular objective of preparing Anlin to reshape destiny. Anlin at last comprehended. Each instance the system aided him, prevented his demise, or brought him joy, it was her. Tina had consistently been at his side. As the memories coalesce, tears begin to stream down our hero's face, and Tina, already enfeebled, proffers her residual power so he might confront the external catastrophe, yet Lin ultimately declined. Her status his unwillingness to be parted from her once more. They then embraced within the spiritual ocean, and the hero vows to safeguard her heritage. Immediately thereafter, he unleashes the finger that splits the ski technical. Despite its seemingly absurd designation, he abruptly shatters his surroundings. Then Lin awakens to a scene of utter devastation outside, his companions having collapsed. The heavens are shrouded in darkness, and the calamity hovers overhead. Tina materializes before him with a smile, addressing his initial query. He had banished the calamity, but as long as its essence persists, more will emerge. They share a meaningful loop. They resolve to operate as a singular entity. Tina re-enters him, merging their spirits, and then Lin reactivates the transformation magic. On this occasion, he is acknowledged by the divine armament that formerly served the Hornet Woman. Under Tina's direction, our hero commences wielding those identical weapons against the demonic construct, shattering the cells that perpetuate the calamity. She pushes forward through the devastation, brandishing the divine sword at Tina's behest. He delivers a blow potent enough to left the heavens in twain. The resulting impact is immensely powerful, so much so that the young demoness awakens, witnesses the terrifying spectacle, and promptly finds once more. In the merest blink of an eye, the calamity is utterly annihilated. As the sky clears, Tina makes her final appearance before Lin, her ethereal form visibly diminishing. Softly, she instructs him to journey to the spiritual realm and challenge her within this current existence. Weeping, Lin attempts to embrace her, but she gradually dissipates, leaving behind only a luminous orb suspended in the air. A playful epilogue unfolded, revealing the salvation of human cultivators, and the heroes embarking on a journey through the mortal realm. Lino wields three divine armaments, which he must master independently. His accomplishments have earned him renown as a magnificent hero. Despite universal acclaim, Esmail eludes him as he inwardly understands the necessity of cultivating even greater power from this point forward. Testime, without the aid of his psych system. Following these occurrences, the narrative shifts its focus to chronicle the existence of an enigmatic woman, possessing Wet Hail. She has spent a millennium refining her spiritual prowess through artistic expression, distinguishing her from all other cultivators. Rather than engaging in combat or physical regimen, she pursues equilibrium through melodies, also dedicating herself to painting and contemplation. She transforms art into a conduit for achieving divinity, and after a millennium of continuous cultivation, she finally acquires the requisite power. Glad to asken as a goddess, yet, unexpectedly, she chooses to defer her ascension for an additional year. She starts her desire to attain godhood only when the interbeing conflict reaches its zenith, convinced that her divine intervention will serve a more profound purpose amidst universal chaos. Her divine presence will fulfill an even grander objective, the restoration of cosmic equilibrium. Sometime thereafter, the setting shifts, revealing a colossal demon engaged in a fierce confrontation with one of the five most potent deities in existence. This demon is not solitary. He commands an immense host comprised not solely of demonic entities, but also of various other species, who betrayed their own kind in pursuit of power. The tension escalates dramatically when the demon successfully incites the god to a state of absolute rage, both prepare to initiate a conflict capable of destabilizing the entire world. However, precisely as the confrontation is poised to commence, the white-haired woman materializes, exuding a serene yet formidable presence. She intercedes, announcing her imminent ascension as the new deity. Her voice resonates across the heavens, and fissures of dope appear. Amidst golden lightning, she proclaims to all that she will merge with her father, the fiery god, who was on the verge of battling the demon. Subsequently, before the celestial expanse, she initiates her divine metamorphosis. Yet, for an inexplicable reason, an unforeseen complication arises. The AFN as rejects her, and the sacred lightning intended to consecrate her simply dissipates. The ritual is abruptly halted. A profound silence descends upon the battlefield, leaving the god utterly bewildered. As she attempts to comprehend the tune of events, the demon, before the god can respond, erupts into a mocking laughter. He offers a proposition. In 3 days' time, they shall reconvene at the field of fallen stars, where they will determine who genuinely merits the title of god. World be arrogance, the god accepts the gauntlet, vowing that within 3 days, divine retribution shall be unleashed upon the demon and his entire legion. Unbeknownst to him, however, this entire sequence of events is merely a component of a far more elaborate scheme. As I said not, never grant Batman preparation time, for the outcome is predictable. The demon, it turns out, was merely executing directives from an ominous staff, an ancient relic that appeared to possess its own sentience. The actual aim of the stratagem was not the confrontation itself, but rather to entice the good away from his sacred domain. With the deity removed from his territory, the staff commands the infernal army. They break the hallowed drones and purloin a concealed divine artifact. Furthermore, its machinations do not conclude there. The staff issues yet another explicit directive to the demon. Within the span of those 3 days, he is to eradicate every student of the Magic Academy. But a single one is to be spared. The demonic legions blow in compliance, advancing to implement their sinister agenda. Besant and transition, revealing Lin in a state of profound tranquility, sound asleep in his bed, while his alarm clock blares intensely beside him. This very hero, renowned for confronting all challenges and undertaking numerous feats, is currently found rolling upon his pillow, utterly oblivious to the imminent conflict. Then, Lin awakens, his hair disheveled, bearing the expression of Someon. Noah has been in a deep slumber for 3 consecutive days. The moment his eyes flutter open, a crucial realization dawns upon him. His leg system will no longer provide the assistance. He must now confront the world relying solely on his own abilities, devoid of any supernatural advantage, as he races. Dabai the dog, who had been sprawled asleep on the floor next to him, opens his mouth and utters an outlandish remark. He declares that the scent of our family permeates the air, so much so that it is almost palpable. Lin jolts awake, taken aback. The door then proceeds to spot a torrent of absurdities, detailing feminine fragrances with the discernment of a seasoned sommelier. Without hesitation, Lin seizes his mobile phone. Lan begins recording the entire exchange, intending to use it as future evidence. Dabai, however, is no simpleton. And in retaliation, he commences posing probing inquiries to Lin, ambushing the hero with responses that can easily be taken out of context. Consequently, the dog also manages to capture incriminating audio, placing Lin in a precarious predicament. A skirmish then erupts, with the two of them nagging in a chaotic brawl right there within the confines of the dormitory. Shattering chairs, the bed, and even a mirror. Amidst this pandemonium, an announcement reverberates throughout the entire academy. The head teacher declares the upcoming insane journey, described as a spiritual expedition. Students will be permitted to bring only a limited number of protective or recreational articles. Upon hearing this, Lin starts contemplating what positions to bring. His initial target, naturally, gravitates towards his divine weapons, but as they still do not fully comply with his commander, he grows hesitant, envisioning the potential pandemonium. He should one of them choose to assault him mid-journey. Consequently, he reconsiders his course. He resolves to bring Liu a present, intending to express his appreciation for her assistance throughout their discussion. Li, with her characteristic grace, advises our protagonist to hold on to the woman as clothing he had acquired. She clarifies that, regardless of its aesthetic, the garment offers exceptional spiritual protection. Leaving Lin deeply motivated, he takes the present, and they proceed to play a game together for the first time, where Liu triumphs over Lin. Her victory leaves her beaming, and as the hero attempts to parley, she infuses the ring she previously bestowed upon him with her personal magical energy, explaining that should an unforeseen event occur, he can instantly summon her by employing that ring. Subsequently, as Liu had declined his offering, Lin attempts to present the attire to Xiao, but she too declines, perceiving the entire situation as rather peculiar. Perplexing about his next move, he endeavors to give his garment to Shan, who, to everyone's astonishment, declares that he says his biases a considerable time ago, and if the outfit aligns with Lin's personal style, then he should simply be himself. Lin nearly stumbles backward in shock at the response, but Xiang maintains a serious demeanor, asserting that spiritual advancement entails embracing one's true self. Later, in his chamber, our hero stands contemplatively before a mirror, clutching the garment. He begins to envision himself clad in it. Abruptly, the dog enters the space, observes the scene, and Lin even attempts to offer an explanation. He asserts that it is all a misunderstanding, yet a crimson flower blossoms on his head, commencing the projection of an illusion depicting him dancing in the very attire. Suspended in mid-air, Dabai tumbles to the ground, overcome with laughter, laughing Lin utterly mortified. He pledges to bestow the garment upon any female. The following day, he approaches Xiaolan is duel with resolve, but prior to being able to converse with her, Liu materializes, Discovering the hero rehearsing his lines for presenting the gift, she smiled and instructed him to be truthful with this Xiaolan, as her companion will comprehend. However, rather than adhering to the consent, Lin fabricates a story. He claims the present is exceptionally special and imbued with magic, asserting that she cannot deadline 80 Xiaolan, growing worry. Inquires if the garment is cursed. Lin adamantly refutes this, yet at that precise instant, the crimson flower manifests once more, revealing to Xiaolan his actions with the attire before the mirror. The young woman's face flushes crimson, with both fury and mortification. But ultimately, she consents to accept the present as she dons the garment. A shadowy energy starts to surge through her physique, and Everion senses the power radiating from it. In reality, this ensemble is a potent spiritual artifact of high caliber. The energy proves so formidable that Xiaolan instantly elevates a cultivation stage. Lin, comprehending the exceptional nature of the attire, attempts to bargain, hoping to borrow the immensely powerful garment for a short period. Xiaolan is enraged and feels compelled to strike him. However, she is cut short by an incoming message. The flying sword is poised for departure, and without squandering time, Xiaolan activates her newly acquired wings, seizes Lin, and soars towards the colossal flying sword. Subsequently, Orville shifts to the Academy's base, where the instructor, now imbued with a divine aura, initiates the vessel as a escape. She clarifies that the genuine purpose of this journey is to transport the students to witness the consequences of the conflict among the deity. The grand sword begins to radiate light, and scores of cultivators ascend onto it, prepared for the expeditions. As Lin and Xiaolan emerge, hovering alongside each other, all the students erupt in shouts of exhilaration. They salute the elemental, who now journeys amidst immortal deities. Nevertheless, even as Everion rejoiced, Xiaolan started to lose mastery over her newly manifested wing. The ethereal feathers flapped erratically, and the energy emanating from them grew entirely volatile, causing her to fly in a haphazard, zigzag pattern, much like a pigeon flying in its direction. Attempted to assist, but the first one generated by the flying sword as velocity nearly tore his hair from his head. Amidst the unfolding pandemonium, the instructor observed the entire situation from a distance and recollected a discussion she had previously engaged in with the aged man who possessed the gift of foresight. During that particular conversation, the seer had unequivocally stated that this expedition would prove perilous, and that the entirety of the danger would stem from Anli. Recallingly, the teacher's complexion turned ashen, and without a moment's deliberation, she propelled the flying sword to its utmost speed, endeavoring to depart from the area before any further calamity could unfold. Yet, concurrently, Xiaolan, grappling with her unmanageable weakness, was preoccupied with an entirely distinct thought. In actuality, she had deliberately intended to miss the journey, solely to secure a private moment with Li. But destiny intervened, and at the precise moment she kissed her movement, a brilliant flash materialized behind Jane. This phenomenon heralded the arrival of the fabled one. He was the Academy's most formidable student, or rather, the former most formidable, as Anlin had usurped that title. He, though, was tardy for the expedition. Upon observing Anlin alongside the Xiaolan, Wang Rachel said he is indebted to the hero for a past favor. After the individual had single-handedly rescued the world and vanquished the catastrophe, so with a resolute smile, he resolves to assist them in reaching the sword. He amasses the entirety of his divine power force potent enough to kill a mountain into and delivers the most monumental push of his existence. This propels Anlin and Xiaolan directly towards the flying sword. The impetus was so extraordinary that Wang himself remained suspended in the air. Emotionally, as he observes his companions being propelled into the distance, he beats them very well as if they were kin. For an undisclosed reason, he does not accompany. He merely watches, tears welling in his eye, imbued with a profound sense of duty accomplished. Yet, despite the immense power exerted, Lin and Xiaolan remain unable to reach the sword. They hover at the very edge of its range, their hands extended, nearly making contact with the spiritual vessel as perimeter. From her vantage point above, the teacher observes the unfolding scene and issues a warning to all the students. In a mere 10 seconds, the flying sword will achieve its peak velocity. Anjon intending to assist and Lin must act without delay. Upon hearing this, Xiang immediately sprang into action, channeling his spiritual energy to unleash golden chains of power towards Enlin. As she attempted to retrieve Enlin, the other students, witnessing Xiang as determined effort, united their own spiritual energies with his, thus converging energies coalesced, manifesting as a brilliant, temporary portal designated for passage. Its purpose was to retrieve the hero, yet the formidable spiritual winds made the aim forward movement appear utterly invisible. Enlin, with a shout, activated the Soul Divine artifact, that still responded to his commands, albeit faintly, a spiritual dagger. He affectionately referred to this dagger as God. With his renewed strength, augmented by Xiaolan and the other students' contributions, they successfully traversed the portal and materialized atop the flying sword, prompting a round of applause from all the students. They chanted Enlin as name as if he were a renowned figure. The teacher excelled in relief, though her expression remained stern. Immediately thereafter, the flying sword attained its ultimate velocity, striking across the heavens like a golden flash of lightning. The surrounding landscape dissolved into an indistinct blur, and the aerial currents roared so fiercely that conversation became impossible. With the journey now stable, the teacher approached Xiaolan to extend her formal congratulations. She had just become the third student in the academy as history to achieve such a high level of cultivation. The students applauded, and Xiaolan offered a bashful smile. She feigned modesty, while Enlin, in the meantime, was already gripping the deck firmly to prevent being dislodged once more. However, the atmosphere abruptly shifted as the scene transitioned to a dark, flame-engulfed setting on the other side of the screen. There, the demonic legions began their advance, with the commander of darkness issuing direct commands to ready 100,000 spiritual insects. These creatures were intended to invade and assault the flying sword-made journey. Though diminutive, each insect possessed potent destructive energy. This energy was capable of penetrating magical defenses. As these infernal preparations unfolded, the narrative shifted back to the skies. Up above the flying sword, the teacher calmly provided details about the Great Stone Island. This island was designated as the future battleground for the war among the goddesses, described as the pivotal point of equilibrium connecting all worlds. It was also where the students would personally witness the make of the divinity. However, even as this lesson progressed, the demon orchestrating the conflict finally succeeded in fully absorbing the dark stuff as power. An immense surge of energy erupted around him, warping space itself. He was no longer merely a general of darkness, but a demigod. His form underwent a drastic change, and the staff began to whisper within his consciousness, offering boundless power in return for widespread devastation. Meanwhile, as the army pressed forward, in a distant corner of the cosmos, the daughter of that very same god, a white-haired woman, emerged alongside a human manifestation of her soul. The pair trained in unison, striving to merge their strength and attain an unprecedented level of power. Destiny, once more, began to orchestrate its intricate alignment of events. Unaware of the grand scheme, Wanling, who was merely attempting to tame her way to Slughair, was on the verge of becoming entangled in the most pivotal conflict across all realms. Amidst this unfolding events, we begin to grasp the origins of the white-haired woman. The narrative discusses that her human incarnation is the offspring of a human individual. This human resided in a futuristic nation, A civilization that had progressed to such an advanced state that it ultimately achieved a perilous degree of knowledge and power. As time passed, the avarice of its population intensified to such an extent that the world itself could no longer tolerate their presence. The entire nation was utterly annihilated, vanishing from all records of all its inhabitants. Only one survived, the mother of the white-haired woman. Despondent, she roamed for countless ages until her journey led her to the fabled Stone Island, as it where deities had waged ancient conflicts and left behind sacred relics. During her travel, the woman encountered an enigmatic figure, a wanderer who bestowed upon her a divine artifact. This artifact was the Brush of the Palestar, a divine weapon highly sought after on Stone Island. It was coveted by every race aspiring to absolute power. Returning to the present, the white-haired woman clarified that she and her companion must collect all the divine weaponry before the divine bat arrived at the island and claimed everything for itself. With unwavering resolve, the two proceeded with their strategy. Their eyes fixed as their spiritual aura caused everything around them to vibrate. Aboard the Flying Sword, the teacher commenced organizing the students in preparation for the impending major confrontation. Senametiang first, Tenso, followed by Xiaolan, and finally Wenji. And Lin, believing he would be intruded, felt a surge of happiness. However, the teacher mercilessly shattered his hopes, declaring that he would indeed form a group, but it would consist solely of himself. His smile instantly vanished. According to Wendy, he was the most powerful, thus negating a need for reliance on others. He was to operate independently. After instructing everyone else to form team, she then teleported Enlin directly to Stone Island by himself. Isolated and without his usual hack system, he was left entirely alone. Upon arrival, he immediately assessed his system, only to find no support available. He then began manually searching through numerous screens for a mission of value. Eventually, he discovered a peculiar task. He needed to leap from a cliff to acquire the power of the wind. Enlin surveyed his surroundings, pondered for a moment, and located an ideal cliff face before preparing to jump. Just before his leap, he sensed a dark energy emerging on the horizon. Meanwhile, on the other side, the two identical women were striving to harness the power to send risky ablaze. Yet, they haven't spawned the white-haired individual. Embracing instead the black-haired one, will then ignite us with power and retrieve celestial boons. Concurrently, aboard the Flying Sword, the students finalized their team arrangements, only for a sudden, ominous energy to shroud the heavens. The seasoned students instantly grasped Touchstone Dragon Island has been sealed off, leaving them confined within its boundaries alongside an adversary. Following this, a colossal bat materialized, unfurling its immense wings and unleashing a torrent of destructive force. Its makes is so formidable that the instructor is compelled to erect an emergency shield wall. Far below, Lin finds himself utterly isolated amidst a desolate landscape, assailed by beating winds and crackling spiritual lightning. Sensing the immense power of the divine band, he activates his spiritual sagat, attempting to discern the nature of his adversary. He perceives the extreme peril posed by his entity, and moments later, a spiritual detonation hurls him a great distance. He narrowly escapes death, fortuitously rescued by the sole divine artifact that had acknowledged him as its rightful wielder. Having recuperated, he resumes his ascent towards the cliff assuming, resolute in his quest to fulfill his objective, and acquire the power of wind. High above, the predicament escalates as a divine bird conjures a massive swarm of 100,000 demonic insects. These creatures then surge towards the Flying Sword. The teacher, recognizing the gravity of the menace, implores the students for assistance, so they might bolster the barrier. Yet, that is not the full extent of the danger. The demon further unleashes colossal spiritual beasts. These creatures are dispatched against the human cultivator, with Lin clearly being the initial target of their assault. The young man had barely drawn a breath before a horde of monsters descended upon him, forcing him into a desperate struggle for survival. The student's position of higher up soon come under attack, causing with desperate panic and leading many to despair. The teacher then recalls the counsel of her old sire companion. His friend had assured her that all would resolve favorably if she maintained the student's morale. Bearing this in mind, she resolves to sacrifice her own life to safeguard Everione. She channels her vital essence, conjuring a golden radiance that expands like a protective aegis. Witnessing this, Shen cries out for Jin to aid the teacher and prevent her from fighting solo. Chen activates every weapon he acquired. During his journey to the human realm, unleashing a torrent of magical souls that illuminate the heavens, Manuel. Thunderstone Island battlefield, a divine bat materialized before the two women, imperiously demanding the surrender of the divine artifact. The spiritual pressure it exerts so overwhelming that the very ground trembles and fragments into countless pieces. Concurrently, Lin activates his inherent abilities, battling the insect, and striving to avoid being crushed. His form radiates with the combined energies of wind and earth. High endurance until the final moment. And her. Our season draws to a close. Through the resonant bat of demonic wind still reverberates. The concluding scene features Anlin, solitary atop the cliff, gazing at the ravaged ski. As the emblem of the Heart System slowly blinks into reappearance on his arm, I trust you found this video enjoyable. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Feel free to comment below if you wish to see a second season on this channel. That concludes our session. Everyone, I'll pause here. We're in this together. Thank you, farewell, and until the next video.